Welcome back to episode 4 of my home darkroom printing series. In this episode, I'm going to print some of my negatives from a recent trip I took to Big Bend National Park with my friend Steven. I'm working on a full video about hiking there with my Hasselblad, so look out for that soon. As always, I'm giving away 3 of the prints I make in this video. The giveaway is free to enter. All you have to do is subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment down below telling me which print is your favorite. Steven and I went to Big Bend the week before Thanksgiving, which ended up being great timing because the weather was perfect and there were not many people. The light was beautiful and the terrain was more diverse than I guess I was expecting, which was a lot of fun. Water was the only tough thing, as there are no consistent natural sources in the park, so we had to carry a lot of it, which was heavy. The views made it worth it though. This first shot is of some cacti right near the trail, and I liked the way that the light and shadow helped isolate the thorns. I printed this at grade 3 contrast because the negative has a lot of contrast already from the scene itself and the yellow 15 filter that I used. I think getting the contrast right in the negative goes a long way to making the final print easier to achieve. This second image is from sunset, the first night we were in the park. We had set up our camp a mile or so below this viewpoint and hiked up for sunset. I like the way this picture came out because it has an otherworldly feel to it that I'm realizing I find myself drawn to again and again in my black and white landscape images. These medium format negatives also capture so much information as well that you can really get lost in the details, and I find myself getting sucked in. I made 2 copies of this one and burned the sky in the second one because I thought it might look nice, but it came out much muddier than I imagined it would. And especially after toning the prints in selenium, I definitely prefer the first one, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I really like this third image, which is also from that sunset the first evening, but I don't think I have the final print that I want just yet. The way that the background and the foreground work together to create this kind of light bending effect is really cool, with the sunset light kind of spilling over into the foreground. On this version of the print, I tried to dodge the rock outcropping in the foreground to bring more attention to it, which worked, but I wasn't pleased with how much detail I lost in the trees, and I don't like the halo effect that it created. I know there is a ton of detail in the foreground from looking at the negative, so in the second version I focused on dodging the trees, which again worked, but created a really unnatural and inconsistent looking shadow pattern. This is definitely one that I want to come back to and get right. I think I might be able to just dodge the entire foreground corner and let the naturally lighter rocks shine through on their own. I'm happy with the exposure and the contrast of the background though, so it should be a pretty easy fix. The next morning, we set off about an hour before sunrise to climb the highest point in the park, Emery Peak. Watching the sunrise from this vantage point with the surrounding topography was unreal and such a treat. This negative was a hard one to print because of how much contrast there is in the negative, but I didn't want to drop the grade of the enlarger too low because I still wanted the blacks to be nice and deep. What I like about this scene is the way that the squiggly trails of erosion are framed by the higher elevation and then melt off into the background. I think I need to get one of my film backs serviced because this probably would have been one of my favorite images from the trip, but there's a little bit of a light leak creeping in through the dark slide slot on the left of the frame. I think it still came out great though, and I did take it on color slide film as well because it was sunrise and it would have been a shame not to, and that one worked out perfect. This next one is from around 7 a.m. the next day, looking west towards a feature called The Window, which is right at the bottom of this canyon and drops off suddenly overlooking the valley below. I liked this view from higher up more than I liked the view from the window itself because the two nearer peaks in the image kind of create this nice subframe that I think works really well. The trail down to the window is pretty green relative to a lot of the terrain in Big Bend because when it does rain, the canyons channel most of the water, so there are tons of cool plants and rocks to photograph. I liked these three agave layered on this little outcropping. This one is a detail of some rocks from the canyon walls further down that I thought looked pretty interesting. And this last one is a cactus detail with the lobe in focus having grown in the perfect shape of a heart, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for a chance to win one of these prints, and follow Silver Halide Flowers on Instagram for more updates like when I post the full Big Bend video and many more that I have planned for this winter. Until next time, shoot more film.